Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. The fluorescent lights hum overhead in a cramped therapist's office in 1960s Vienna. Dr. Viktor Frankl adjusts his wire-rimmed glasses, the scent of old leather from his chair mixing with the faint aroma of coffee cooling on his desk. A patient sits across from him, fidgeting with trembling hands, voice cracking as she whispers the question that haunts millions. What's the point of any of this? Frankl pauses, his weathered fingers tracing the edge of a manuscript. Pages that would become Man's Search for Meaning. The paper feels rough under his touch, each sheet a testament to survival, to wisdom forged in the darkest furnaces of human experience. Outside, Vienna bustles with the sounds of reconstruction, hammers striking metal, voices calling across construction sites, a city rebuilding itself, much like the human spirit he spent his life understanding. The woman's question isn't unique. In post-war Europe, it echoes in therapy rooms, in university halls, in the hearts of those trying to make sense of existence after witnessing humanity's capacity for both ultimate evil and profound good. But Frankl knows something others don't. Something learned not from textbooks, but from standing at the edge of human endurance and choosing, moment by moment, to find meaning even there. He leans forward, and the subtle shift of his weight on the leather chair seems to change the entire atmosphere of the room. He says softly, "The question isn't what life means in general. The question is what life is asking of you, right now, in this very moment." But this moment in his Vienna office was only the beginning. The late afternoon sun slants through the window, casting long shadows across the floor where patient and doctor sit, two figures engaged in the most fundamental human conversation while the weight of untold stories hangs in the air between them. In the next part, we'll discover the profound moment that would reshape how Viktor Frankl understood human suffering and why his approach would revolutionize psychology forever.
The train whistle pierces the morning air, a sound that would haunt Viktor Frankl for the rest of his life. September 1942. The cattle car lurches forward, metal wheels grinding against tracks, carrying him toward what the Nazis called resettlement, but what he now understands is a journey into the abyss of human cruelty. The stench is overwhelming, bodies pressed together, the metallic taste of fear coating every breath, the rhythmic clacking of wheels creating a maddening percussion of despair. Frankl's hand instinctively moves to his coat pocket, where a manuscript lies hidden, his life's work on logotherapy, the theory that humans are primarily driven by the search for meaning. The pages crumple slightly under his grip, warm against his palm, as if holding the last remnant of his former life as a respected Viennese psychiatrist. Around him, voices whisper prayers in languages he recognizes: German, Hungarian, Polish, a babble of broken hope. But in this moment, pressed against strangers who smell of sweat and terror, Viktor Frankl makes a choice that will define not just his survival, but his entire philosophy. He decides to observe, to study, to find meaning even in meaninglessness. The train shudders to a halt. Through the small barred window, he glimpses the sign, Theresienstadt. The sound of boots on gravel grows louder, and German voices bark orders that cut through the morning like blades. And yet something even more defining was about to happen. As the heavy doors slide open with a screech of rusted metal, flooding the car with harsh daylight, Frankl realizes he's not just entering a concentration camp, he's entering the most brutal laboratory of human spirit ever conceived. Here, stripped of everything external that once defined him, his title, his possessions, his social status. He will discover what remains when everything is taken away. The choice to find meaning, he understands now, isn't philosophical theory, it's survival itself. The image of a manuscript clutched against a racing heart, surrounded by the chaos of arrival, would become the foundation of everything he would later teach the world. Next, we'll witness the moment Viktor Frankl discovers the invisible freedom that no guard, no wire, no cruelty can ever touch. A revelation that will transform millions of lives.
The work detail begins before dawn. Frankl's hands, once soft from years of examining patients' minds, now grip a shovel that weighs more than hope itself. The frozen ground of Dachau resists each strike, sending shockwaves up his arms that seem to rattle his very soul. Around him, the gray figures of fellow prisoners move like ghosts, their breath forming small clouds in the bitter air that dissipate as quickly as their former lives. The guard's voice cuts through the morning like a whip crack. "Faster! You worthless dogs, move faster!" The words taste metallic in the air, mixing with the acrid smell of smoke that never stops rising from the chimneys. Frankl's stomach clenches with hunger, so profound it has become a constant companion, gnawing at his concentration like a persistent whisper of surrender. But in this moment, bent over a tool that has become an extension of his survival, Viktor Frankl discovers something the guards cannot see, cannot touch, cannot steal. In his mind, he begins to picture himself after the war, standing before an audience in a warm lecture hall, sharing what he's learning in this frozen hell. The image is so vivid, he can almost smell the chalk dust, almost feel the podium beneath his hands, almost hear the rustle of notebooks as students frantically scribble down insights born from suffering. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share these profound insights about human resilience and the search for meaning even in our darkest moments. This detail, small as it seemed, would come back in ways no one expected. The SS officer approaches, boots crunching on frost-covered ground, and Frankl forces himself to dig faster. But inside his mind, the lecture continues. He imagines describing this very moment, how a man can be stripped of everything except the freedom to choose his response to his circumstances. The guard sees only a prisoner bent over a shovel. He cannot see the psychiatrist analyzing his own survival, the philosopher discovering truth in extremity, the teacher preparing lessons in the university of human endurance. As another day bleeds into night, as his body screams for rest and sustenance, Frankl realizes he has found something more powerful than any weapon: the understanding that meaning can be chosen, created, discovered, even here, even now. The choice to find purpose in suffering becomes his invisible rebellion, his unbreakable freedom. A figure silhouetted against the dim glow of searchlights, holding tight to thoughts no barbed wire could contain, had just unlocked the secret that would liberate millions. In our next part, we'll witness how this invisible freedom transforms not just Frankl's survival, but reveals the technique that will revolutionize how humanity understands resilience and recovery.
The liberation sirens wail across Dachau on April 29, 1945. Viktor Frankl stands among the walking skeletons who have somehow survived, his body weighing barely 90 pounds, his clothes hanging like fabric ghosts around his frame. The taste of freedom is strange on his tongue, metallic, uncertain, almost too overwhelming to swallow. American soldiers move through the camp, their faces a mixture of shock and horror as they witness what humanity can inflict upon itself. But Frankl's mind isn't on the soldiers or the celebration. His fingers trace the air where his hidden manuscript once lived, the pages long since discovered and destroyed by guards. Yet every word lives on in his memory,
each concept refined by the crucible of experience. The theoretical has become visceral truth. 6 months later, he sits in his rebuilt Vienna office, the same chair, the same desk, but everything transformed. The patient across from him, a successful businessman paralyzed by meaninglessness, cannot understand why his wealth and status feel hollow. The scent of fresh coffee mingles with autumn air drifting through windows, and Frankl leans forward with the gentleness of someone who has stared into the abyss and learned its secrets. "Tell me," Frankl says, his voice carrying the weight of hard-won wisdom, "what is life asking of you right now?" The businessman looks confused. "I don't understand. I'm asking what life means." But fate was not done testing him with this profound teaching moment. Frankl stands and walks to the window where Vienna bustles with the sounds of reconstruction. Children's laughter echoes from the street below, mixing with the hammering of workers rebuilding what was destroyed. "In the camps," he says quietly, "I discovered that we cannot ask what life means. We must answer what life asks of us. Every moment presents a question only you can answer." This is logotherapy in action. Not the search for pleasure like Freud suggested, not the will to power as Adler claimed, but the will to meaning. The choice to find purpose even when circumstances seem purposeless. The freedom to transform suffering into achievement, guilt into compassion, uncertainty into opportunity for growth. The businessman's eyes widen with recognition, as if seeing color for the first time. Outside, the sounds of Vienna rebuilding itself become a symphony of human resilience. The choice to create meaning from the raw materials of existence. A weathered hand reaching toward a window where light streams through, connecting the darkness of the past with the possibility of transformed futures, captured the essence of humanity's greatest discovery. In our final part, we'll witness how Viktor Frankl's philosophy spreads across the world, transforming millions of lives and revealing why his message about finding meaning has never been more crucial than it is today.
30 years later, Viktor Frankl steps onto the stage of a packed auditorium in California. The applause washes over him like ocean waves, but his weathered hands remain steady on the podium. At 73, his voice carries the resonance of someone who has transformed the deepest human suffering into the most profound wisdom. The audience, therapists, students, seekers, lean forward in anticipation, the collective rustle of notebooks creating a symphony of eager learning. Man's Search for Meaning has sold over 10 million copies worldwide, translated into dozens of languages, touching lives from Tokyo boardrooms to Sao Paulo favelas. But for Frankl, the numbers matter less than the single mother in Road 12 who found the courage to rebuild after divorce, or the cancer patient in the balcony who discovered purpose in supporting others through treatment. The auditorium smells of anticipation and coffee, the soft buzz of hundreds of conversations creating a tapestry of human connection. Stage lights cast a warm glow that reminds him of those Vienna afternoons when patients first began to understand that meaning isn't something you find, it's something you create, moment by moment, choice by choice. The question, he tells them, his voice carrying across the vast space, is never what you expect from life. The question is always what life expects from you. The words echo off the walls, settling into hearts like seeds in fertile ground. An elderly woman in the front row wipes tears from her eyes, not of sadness, but of recognition. A young man takes notes furiously, his pen racing to capture insights that could transform his understanding of his own struggles. In the back, a teenage girl sits transfixed, realizing for the first time that her anxiety and uncertainty might be gateways to discovering her unique purpose.
This is Frankl's true legacy. Not just survival, but transformation. Not just meaning discovered in the camps, but meaning created in countless ordinary moments, in offices, in classrooms, in hospitals and homes, wherever human beings choose to respond to life's questions with courage, compassion, and the relentless search for purpose. As the applause fades and the audience begins to file out, Frankl knows that his work continues in every person who leaves this auditorium committed to asking not what's wrong with my life, but what is my life asking me to do? The image of countless faces illuminated by the light of possibility, each carrying the spark of meaning into their own unique circumstances, represents humanity's greatest triumph over despair. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Viktor Frankl's transformative philosophy. If these insights resonated with you, please like this content and share it with someone who might benefit from discovering their own path to meaning. Comment below with your thoughts about how you find purpose in your daily life. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that explore the depths of human resilience and wisdom. What philosophical topic would you like us to explore next?